Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Souping with Friends video. Tonight we're going to make a coconut red Thai curry soup that you can put over rice or not. As you can see, we're making this video from a different angle in the kitchen than we normally do. And that's just because what I have to do with the lighting so you can see me, because it's too dark outside now to use the natural light. You'll have to tell me if it works okay for you or if the shading and shadowing makes me look like I'm in a funhouse mirror. Okay. Also, we're still at the propane stove. One more day, I think one more day in the fireplace corner will be done. So one more day we can make it here at the propane stove. I like to start with the lemongrass first. And this is just a bunch of lemongrass that I bought in bulk when it was super on sale, and I chopped it into usable pieces and I stuck it in the freezer. And that's why I like to use it first, because it's still partially frozen. You really just have to warm it up enough to be able to cut the ends off and to be able to get any pieces that are really woody off. And then I just take the stalk and slice it in half so that you get all of the little layers of the lemongrass. And I really like lemongrass, so I'm going to put 3 in here, 3 little stalks, but you might find that that 1 or 2 is enough for you. Now, lemongrass isn't normally something I think everybody has in their kitchen, and I almost always just cook with what people have in their normal kitchens because I'm not a fancy kind of lady. So now, if I didn't have this lemongrass in my kitchen, I would just use a drop of food grade lemongrass essential oil, and I have lots of that for soap making. So all these woody pieces, they can go in the pig bucket. Now let's add some liquid to the pan. This is just a quart of some pre-soup stock that I made. It's just chicken stock with a bunch of celery in it. And you could just use chicken stock, bone broth, whatever, a quart of soup liquid, preferably from a bird of some sort. And if I didn't have this pre-made soup stock, I would just use chicken broth. All right, so we're gonna add some cheaty chicken broth, okay? So I buy this chicken bouillon in bulk whenever I can find it in bulk. Like I buy a big bucket at a time because I use so much of it. And it takes kind of your homegrown chicken broth or bone broth and just makes it taste yummier. So that's what I'm doing. It may not be perfect, don't care, that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to add a big tablespoon and maybe another half of this chicken stock in there, chicken bouillon in there, to my 2 cups of water that I added. Now, let's try not to catch the cutting board on fire. Yep, just like that. Pick the wrong one, lady. You picked the wrong one. Okay, there we go. So that lemongrass is going to simmer then in this stock. Also in the stock, we are going to chop up some potatoes. Okay, now these are raw, and I'm just going to cut them into whatever pieces I think Mr. Reeve can shove in his mouth. Okay? And as this broth heats, or as this soup stock, or whatever you want to call it, as the base of our soup heats up and boils, it's going to cook these potatoes. Okay? So I am going to add, I don't know what, 3 potatoes. When I make soup, I make it with whatever I got, you know. If I had 2 potatoes, I'd use it. If I had a bunch of potatoes that were starting to get soggy and gushy and I needed to use them up, I'd put a lot in there, okay? So these potatoes are going to bulk up this soup, and they're also going to add a little bit of starch, which is going to thicken the broth a little bit. All right, and then I'm going to add half an onion. This is a big onion. These are those organic onions that I got from Azure Standard in a whole case. So they're huge. So if I was going to use a small or medium onion, I'd probably use the whole thing. But for this one, I only need half. Try to keep all my fingers intact. That's always good. Okay. And I like soup with chunks in it. Woo, almost lost a finger. Too many things at once, Crystal. Cut, then talk. Cut, then talk. Okay, and so for now, I lied. I was going to say for now, that's all we're putting in there. But I do have this knob of ginger. It's like a 1-inch knob of ginger. I really like ginger. And if you don't, well, then you maybe shouldn't make a curry soup. But don't want to put the ginger in it, you don't have to. And if I didn't have ginger, I wouldn't put it in there. So I'm going to cut the little papery skin off of this guy. And then I'm gonna slice it very thin and put the slices right in the soup, okay? If you don't like slices and you don't like to bite into a chunk of ginger, then you can just shred it or put it through a garlic press and just make minced garlic, okay? But I think I'm just gonna leave it in kind of chunks, throw it in there. I think total is probably about a tablespoon, okay? About a tablespoon. And then that's what we're gonna leave for now until this heats up and boils and cooks those potatoes. And so I will meet you back when those potatoes are cooked all the way through and nice and soft. Okay, our potatoes are nice and soft, and I've got a little pot of rice started over here. I turned our soup down to low now. It just needs to simmer. It's time to add some of the other things. This is a quart of, it's actually canned turkey, but we needed to use it up, so turkey it is. But if you had chicken, you could use that. If you had fresh chicken, you could cut up maybe a large size breast and cook it up and put it in here. Or if it was raw, you could cut it up. You would just add that raw chicken in at the beginning when we added the potatoes. That way it would make sure it was cooked all the way through. Now I'm going to chop up any big chunks. Okay. Now we're going to add a can of coconut cream. This is organic coconut cream that I get from Azure Standard in bulk. And it doesn't have any guar gum in it. And it has like, I think 22% fat. It is fabulous. And we're just going to add the whole can in there. Now, for a long time, I didn't cook with coconut cream at all because it was like $4 for a tiny little can in Alaska. So once I found this Azure Standard stuff I could get in bulk for like way cheap, and it's a way better quality than just the average kind I can get at the store, I was really happy. The only downside with that is that I have been using the tar out of this stuff and it's not something that I normally have on my shelf. So now it's an extra thing that I buy now. Turn our rice down. It's going for broth over there. Now this isn't store-bought red curry paste. This is red curry paste that I make. And I make it out of things that I generally have in my kitchen. So it's not exactly like the store-bought kind, but if you want me to make a video about it and enough people request it, let me know in the comments below and I will make you a video. So I do a big spoonful and then a half another one, okay? And it adds just a little bit of spice to it. Now all we have to do is wait for all of that coconut cream to melt down and our rice to get done, and then we'll put it together. Now while our rice is finishing steaming, I'm going to take one of our beautiful zucchinis from our garden and I'm going to use the big holes on the cheese shredder and make a little bit of a topping for our soup. Now you can use, like this is zucchini, you could use some julienne carrots if you want, but we also have these tiny cabbages that we grew this year, and so I'm going to cut off kind of those weird light colored leaves. Give those to the pigs. And then I'll just make some finely shredded purple cabbage and we'll top our soup with that. So let me get it dished up. All right, I hope you can see okay. We'll just take a little spoonful of rice. You can put more or less if you want. Nice big ladle of soup on top. Yummy. Oh my goodness. A little bit of our garnishes here just to make it look pretty. There we go. Now this soup saves really well in the fridge and we'll probably eat it throughout the week till it's gone. If you put a little bit of butter in the rice and then seal it in like a bag that you can get most of the air out of, then it won't get all dried and nasty in your fridge and you'll be able to dump it just right in your soup. And one of the best things that I like about this soup is really, you need some vegetables, you need some kind of soup stock, chicken stock, bone broth, something, and you can add meat if you had some. And then all you need is a can of coconut and a little bit of red curry paste, and it's great every time. We're not going to eat these lemongrass stems, right? You would just pick them out if you got them in your bowl. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little recipe of souping with friends. Make sure you head over to Jessica Milnes's channel, Modern Homestead Alaska, and check out what she's got going on for Souping with Friends videos. And I have a playlist of all of the channels so far that have decided to be Souping with Friends with us. And so you can go into my playlist, and I have included everybody so far. So enjoy the new recipes, and if you guys want to share your soup recipes with me, just email them to me. You can find my email around there somewhere. Oh yeah, and if you guys want to watch your famous taste tester, your favorite famous taste tester, I'll get him out in just a second. Okay, you ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Eat. I know. It's just the small bowl. You can have refills.
I hope so.
Yeah, the big bowls were dirty.
I like all the stuff on the top.
Yeah? What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Thanks for joining me, guys, with another Souping with Friends video. We'll catch you on the next one.